What's going on, guys? In this video, we're discussing why lazy people hate the modern world, but the douche loves the modern world. So let's get into it. Let me put the nicotine gum in, get my mind in the right spot. Let's get into it. So if you haven't noticed, most people complain about the modern world all the time. In every side of like a discussion, everybody seems to have this kind of consensus attitude that the modern world sucks, right? You've got like the progressive libtard types who complain about it because of climate change and the patriarchy and all this like gay shit they complain about. And then you've got like on this side, you've got like tradcon types who bemoan the degeneracy of the modern world. And they want to go back to this era where like your wife dresses like it's Little House on the Prairie and they LARP like they're farmers and they pretend to be these diehard Christians and like this kind of bullshit that they're on. And you've got like also the normies who will complain about the modern world because it's too expensive for them because gas is expensive or eggs are expensive or something like that. Basically, everybody's complaining about the modern world except the douche. Now, if you're new to the channel, what is a douche? You might be wondering. A douche is somebody who calls bullshit on the system, basically. He just looks at life through this very much this approach of like, all right, I'm here on this earth. This is cool. I'm going to have fun with this. I'm not going to take it that seriously. And I'm not doing a bunch of shit that you tell me to do just because you tell me I should do it. I'm not going to college because you told me to go to college. I'm not going to get married just because I'm supposed to. I'm like, if it doesn't make sense to me, I'm not going to do it. And that's kind of the douche's approach, and he really doesn't care what people think of him. And the douche loves the modern world. He does not complain about it the way that everybody else does. Now, why is that? It's because everybody else is lazy. The tradcons are lazy, the normies are lazy, the progressive libtards are lazy. Like everybody is basically lazy, and this is why they don't like the modern world. This is not a good time to live if you are a lazy person. Now, let me explain what I mean by lazy, though, because it's not just physically lazy, like you don't want to work hard, although that is a big part of it. A real big part of it is that we're living in an era where things have changed radically, and the way you succeed in the world has changed completely from what it was 20 years ago and certainly like 40, 50 years ago. Like the thing is just so much different than it was. And most people are too lazy to figure out how to actually succeed in the modern world. And this is why I say lazy people hate the modern world. Rather than figuring out how to succeed in the modern world that we live in, these people would rather just throw stones at it and complain about it from one side or the other. And there's a big reason for this. It's because it's a lot easier to complain about the modern world and dream and fantasize about a world that is never going to exist than it is to sit down and do the hard work of figuring out how to actually win in the real world. So what I mean, like, you know, again, going back to the tradcons, the tradcon kind of character, and I'm talking about these people who like they LARP like they really like traditional values. They pretend like they want to be farmers, but they've never been on a farm. They pretend like they want to go back to this marriage and have kids kind of era type thing, but like they've got OnlyFans like accounts low key, but they just don't tell anybody that type of shit. They're like, it's just this whole LARPing thing. And it's easy to have this approach because you get to go on Twitter and you get to complain about how modern architecture doesn't look good, or you get to complain about how like degenerate women are these days, or you get to complain about like whatever, like you get to throw up some like, you know, some Catholic cross on your Twitter bio or something like that. You know, like you do all this kind of like nonsense and you talk about how the world should be different. Because if the world should be different, then you don't have to actually participate in the modern world. You can just complain about it, sit over here on the side, and then just talk about how someday you're going to have a farm or some shit. And the funny thing is, like, all these people are just cogs in the wheel. Like, all the tradcon people, they're cogs in the wheel. They work for somebody. They've got some job in a corporation, but then they have a Twitter account where they complain about the modern world. Like, their problem isn't really the modern world. Their problem is they just don't know how to win in it, and so they're complaining about it, and they're too lazy to figure out how the game actually works in the modern world. It's the same with the progressive types. Like, we're never going to actually come into some world where like the patriarchy's destroyed. The patriarchy thing is, I mean, it's all bullshit what they think anyways, but like That's never going to happen. And they can LARP and pretend like they want to live in this communist utopia. And the normies can like dream about this world where, the middle managers are gone and corporations don't like, the CEO doesn't get paid well and they just get a raise just because we should all just get paid good. Like, it's fun to sit around in these like imaginary worlds and pretend like life is going to be this like thing you want it to be, because then you get to just avoid reality. And this is what people do. Whereas the douche brutally accepts reality because he's just like, okay, like he's the douche at the core is so motivated by truth. Like, he just wants to like, what is the truth of this situation? What is the reality of this? And like, how do I just win? The douche just wants to win. You know what I'm saying? And so he looks at it, he's like, okay, I don't give a fuck what the world should be according to different people. Here's what it is. How do I win? And this is why the douche likes the modern world, because truthfully, what everybody wants is they just want to win. But most people are too lazy to figure out how to win, and so they just complain about the way things are because they're losing. Winners don't complain, right? Like you're playing basketball with your friends and you're losing and you start complaining about the ref, right? Like this is the type of shit people do. They complain about the ref when they're losing. Like when you're winning, you don't care about the ref. And like this is how people go through their daily lives. They're just lazy. So the douche looks at it, and the douche has figured out how to do well in the modern world. He understands that the world has changed dramatically, and then there's a real clear way that you actually succeed in this game. And I'm going to explain that here in a second. But like, you just got to understand, like, back in the day, it worked to be lazy. You could cut your brain off. You could do what the system told you to do, and you would just do well. Because this is what lazy people want. They don't want to have to figure out how the modern world works. They want to just trust that the experts tell them the right thing. They want to trust that if they listen to the guidance counselor and go to college, then life's going to work out. If I just get a job and get a 401k, someday I'm going to be happy, right? If I get married, it's all going to work out, right? They want to believe in the Disney fairy tales. They want to believe in the experts. They want to believe in the, when a doctor comes out and says, take the vaccine for COVID, like they want to believe this, like boomers watching Fox News. They want to believe that like Israel's our closest ally. They want to believe all these kinds of things. Like, they're just really dying to cut their own brains off and let an expert tell them what to do. But this clearly doesn't work. It worked back in the day, and that's kind of my point. Like, the 1990s was a great time to be lazy. Like the jobs paid well enough. The media, you kind of like listened to them, and like the system kind of worked for you. But it's just not that time anymore. And you have to realize, like, the way you succeed in the modern world is not by trusting the experts and being mentally lazy. The way you succeed now is by punking the game. And what do I mean by punking the game? I mean that you just look at all the bullshit of the system and you disregard it. And this is what the douche does so well. So like the game is like the path that you're supposed to follow. The game is you being, polite to everybody. The game is this, like, I'm going to go to college, get the job, work this job with my time. Like, I'm going to trade my time for money, and someday I'm going to be able to retire, and, I'm going to have the 401k and a mortgage, and like my wife's going to be great. Like, I'm going to get married. Like, it's like all this shit. Like, that's the game. Right? The game is the pre-programmed system that you are supposed to follow to, quote, supposedly win. Like if you play by the rules, you're supposed to win. Whereas in reality, we know that's not true. How many people do you know who show up to a 9-to-5 job who end up rich? I don't know anybody who did that, right? Like you got a few people who own a house in cash, and so they're not just like completely poor, but like they're not rich, they're not doing great, they're kind of stuck in life. The system doesn't work if you follow the game, right? You're not the whole joke of 2025 and just this modern era we're in is that the joke is on the person who plays by the rules. And I hope you figured this out by now. I hope this isn't that radical of an idea. Clearly, the person who plays by the rules loses. You know who wins in this game? It's the military contractor who bribes the politician. I mean, we even know this. Like, this is all out in the open at this point. Nobody's even hiding this, right? We'll get $250 billion to Ukraine while the American people starve. And this isn't even really supposed to be political. It's just such like a obvious point of this. Like, people will look and be like, how the hell did this hedge fund guy make $20 million this year when like the average person's making $40K per year? He punked the game. He's just like, I'm not going to go work in a factory when I can just follow the financial system and just, play off that, right? Like, we live in a, like, this again, like, you punk the game. You look at it and you say the game says that, like, when it comes to finances, you're supposed to work hard at a job and contribute to society, and then you get to, like, live a good life, when in reality that's not how it works. You punk the game and you realize we live in a financial economy. This whole thing is just it's a capital based economy. It's not a labor based economy. We have outsourced most labor. We've got robots doing labor. This is a financial based economy. It's about, like, it's about the private equity person. It's about the banks. It's about the hedge funds. It's about the S&P 500. This is what we care about. This kind of shit, and war, and, like, online business and YouTube channels. Like, this is the game now. Like, you got to punk this game that everybody thinks they're playing. And the douche gets this. The douche just looks and he's just observant. He's like, okay, they're telling me to go do this thing, but it leads to me being 200K in debt, making 50K per year, and I don't get anything I want out of life. They're telling me to go get married, but this chick is unbearable and I don't want to marry her. Like, they're telling me that I should buy her flowers, but she treats me like crap when I buy her flowers. It's like, how do I actually do this? They're telling me that I should be nice to everybody, but everybody's an idiot and I don't want to deal with them. You get what I'm saying? Like, this is kind of like the mode the douche is in. He just punks all of this shit. He's like, this is all a big scam. The whole be nice, go along to get along, right? Like, all that shit. He just punks it. So he looks at, like, we'll start with, like, I'll just break this down in a few different areas so you can understand. Because, like, you got to understand this, guys. The modern world is actually fantastic. Seriously, like, it really is. And if you adopt the douche mentality and you just embrace reality for what it is, you'll figure this out. There has never been a time in history where it was easier to get rich. There has never been a time in history where, you didn't have to go, like, labor away to make money. Like, you can do just all kinds of silly shit and just get money out of thin air in this world. Like, it's like money is it's ridiculous at this point when you can do, like, you don't have to, like, guys will wish that we could go back to the 1950s where they had to, like, marry one chick and, like, that was it. It's like, the girls are willing to just sleep with you for nothing now. Like, what is the complaint? Like, what is the issue at this point? Like, we won. Like, we don't have to commit ourselves to one woman just to fulfill our sexual impulses. We can just live our lives and get this done. I don't know what the complaint is about. Just because you haven't made yourself an attractive guy, so we just all need to go back to this old era so you can win because you're being lazy. Like, it just doesn't make sense. Like, the modern world is fantastic. You've got, like, I mean, just, like, everything about it is great. I don't understand, like, the beef is just that you're lazy and you haven't figured out how to win it. Like, we've got access to information everywhere, at every corner. The social media platforms, if you don't let them destroy you, they're pretty awesome tools, actually. YouTube's an amazing tool. We've got ChatGPT. I can just ask it some shit. It'll solve my problems for me. Like, we live in this amazing time to live. Like, we have access to healthier food than ever, as long as you don't eat the junk. We've got, like, gyms on every corner. You can be healthier. You can go, like, a lot of the work is remote. You don't have to show up to an office to make money. Like, the modern world's amazing, but everybody's too busy complaining about it because they haven't figured out that the whole point is you have to punk the game. If you follow the rules, you are going to lose. And so how does this work in practice? Like, what does punking the game, really look like? So I'm going to explain this in a few different areas just so you can kind of understand, like, what punking the game looks like and why this is how you actually win and why the modern world can be great when you do this. Is like, the first one, we'll start with money. The average person has this idea that the economy is set up in such a way that we all show up, we get paid things for contributing to society and doing this job that we have, and we're a part of this community. And if we do this thing, like, the system is designed to work for the normal guy who goes and works the job, and he's going to get to retire someday and have this money and, have a nice house and, like, all this kind of stuff. Again, this just doesn't happen. The average person between the ages of 55 and 64 has $8,000 between their checking and savings accounts. They're broke, guys. Like, this doesn't work, okay? So this notion doesn't work. Cost of living outpaces, income increases. It just doesn't, like, it doesn't make sense. Meanwhile, you look and just, like, again, stop being lazy and look at how this actually works, and then don't complain about how it actually works. Just figure out how to use how it works, right? Because, again, it's great if you are willing to just embrace it, okay? So you look at the normal guy making 50K per year, doing the thing that the system told him to do. How's it working out for him? Not good. Then you look at the guy over here who he got some job in private equity and he's making millions of dollars a year doing a merger of companies. Like he acquires a company and gets a fee for doing the acquisition and creating value for the shareholders and things like this. Like I'm just throwing shit out. I'm not even like a financial expert necessarily, but this shit's obvious. You can see this. And just people just like pocket millions of dollars out of thin air by doing this kind of shit. They'll buy up a company. Like you'll be like the manager of an equity firm. You'll go buy a business, fire everybody, raise the prices, streamline the system, and then sell it for a profit. And you basically did nothing positive for the economy, right? Like the people who actually win basically contribute nothing. And I think it's like one of these things you can complain about it and wish things would change, but it's just not going to change. Or you can just embrace it and be like, yo, so you're telling me that I could just go make a shit ton of money doing some shit. I don't have to go break my back for it. I don't have to go like deal with a bunch of bullshit in HR at my corporation. I can just punk the game and play this other game. People on like social media making tons of money building brands. I do this kind of stuff, right? Like the system is not set up for the 40K per year guy to win. It's set up for the person who punks the game, who realizes that we are not living in a labor-based economy. We are living in a finance-based economy. They use leverage. They use the technologies that we have today. They use the financial system. Like they use the fact that we can outsource work to the third world for dirt cheap. Like this is how people actually win. They use AI to do shit. They use somebody in the third world to do shit. They use the financial system. They create a piece of content. Like this is how this works. And you guys know this when you look at it. So like the douche just looks at it. He's like, I'm going to punk the game. I'm not doing this shit. Like everybody's guilt tripping you into getting a job that doesn't even like accomplish your goals for you. And the douche is like, no, I'm just going to figure out how to actually win. Okay. You see what I'm saying? Let's go on to like relationships as another example of this. The douche looks at this and he's like, okay, like the game is, you buy a girl flowers, you treat her like when she talks, like you should respect her opinion and things like that, right? Like you act like she's like it's an equal relationship, all that kind of stuff. This is like the playing the game. If you play the game, you respect women, you treat her like she's your equal. And supposedly that means you're going to have an amazing marriage and happy life and the sex is going to be great and it's just going to be amazing. And it just doesn't work that way, does it? We all know this doesn't work. So the douche just looks at this and he's like, okay, that game doesn't work. I'm going to punk the game. What does punking the game looks like? It looks like refusing to commit to a relationship. It looks like refusing to get married and just standing on like, I don't see the benefit in this for me. It looks like if I'm going to get married, I'm going to get a prenup. It looks like, self-interest. It looks like prioritizing yourself as the prize over the woman. It looks like living in your own frame rather than treating the woman like she's got, like when she discusses something with you, like you should respect her opinion on it. It's like, no, you're just the dude. And this is what the douche realizes that's all a big game, right? This whole like modern feminist bullshit where like men and women are the same. And like they're both like it's like we know this isn't true. And this is one of these ones that like this is the type of shit that gets you in a lot of hot water to say it, but we just know this is true. And like I think this is actually going to be the next big kind of like red pill for our society is just going to be this whole like we're just going to completely dismantle this notion that men and women are the same. They're just not. We don't communicate the same way. Our brains are not wired the same way. Our perspectives on life are not the same way. And so the douche is just ahead of the curve on this, and he's punking this game. He's like, I'm not going to play this nonsense. I'm not going to listen to what you say. I'm going to do my thing. And it works out, right? Because again, go pay attention yourself. The point of this is like lazy people are upset because they were told the way the world was going to work and it didn't work that way for them, and they don't want to have to figure out how it actually works, and so they're mad. The douche just looks at what works and just does that because he just wants to get the result. And so the douche looks, he's like, all right, who's actually getting what I want with women? It's the guy who plays hard to get. It's the guy who, keeps multiple options around him. It's the guy who won't commit. It's the guy who's kind of an asshole and prioritizes himself. It's the guy who, he's not, he's not emotional. He's not, he's not playing these games. He's not listening to all the shit women are saying. He looks at their actions rather than their words. You get what I'm saying? Like, you punk the game. This is how you win in the modern world. And this is why the douche loves the modern world, because he figured this out. He figured out, oh, the whole point is you just disregard the entire game. And so I'll leave you with this, guys. Like, you might think the modern world sucks, but I'm telling you, like, the world has always had issues. The world has always had crap going on. We've had presidents assassinated. We've had times of plague. We've had the dark ages. We've had, like, you know, slavery. We've had all kinds of awful shit. This era that we live in is actually quite good compared to other eras of human history. The issue here is that you just have to understand how to play the game. And the way you play the game is by punking the game. And if you can figure that out and just embrace the way the modern world works, you're actually going to enjoy it quite a lot. Thanks for watching, guys. Be sure to like and subscribe. I'll talk to you later.